Hello everybody, this is a overview of the entire lesson plan here for the get ready to go out and play at the jam session, part 1 through however many. I've got 9 pages here, and each page has 2 basic tab lines, and then we break it up into like little bits and pieces, box 1, 2, 3, etc., just to put a name on the box so you can get to it quickly. So let's talk about the tuning and that sort of stuff quickly. If you're on 6-string guitar, you're going to play C, E, G, A, C, E. We play those really slow so maybe you can tune up to them. These are the names of the notes of the strings. If you're on 6-string guitar, you're going to start with a C down here, E, G, A, C, E, C, E, G, A, C, E. In music theory, that's C major and A minor. So you get A minor and C right here at open position. It'll be that way all the way up to the neck. You'll have 2 chords for every place we're going to play. Now I'm on an 8-string, so how did I do it, and why do we have 8-string? The 8-string is so you can expand your tuning. You've got C, E, G, A, C, E. So I put, in my case, and that's why it's variable. You can do whatever you want. In my case, I set it up with an A down here on the bottom, so it'd sound like this. You can set it up however you want if you have 8 strings. But in my lesson here, I do give 2 or 3 little spots of 8-string idea. Now in my case, I'm using a D string out here, which is chromatically below this high E. So that's a D. So if you have an 8-string and you want to follow my idea of D, put a D string out here. So that's pretty much all of how the strings go. A, C, E, G, A, C, E, in my case, D. So when I say the names and everything, I'm going to be talking 6-string guitar. Once in a while I'll add this one and this one. I call them outside strings. But for the most part, I'm going to be talking about how to play a 6-string guitar. In box number 1, we're going to be playing the chord of A. And this entire lesson is based on A. Everything's in A. So get to A is the 9th fret. And how you figure that out, if you don't know how already, you start down here on your C string and you go C, D, E, F, G, A. And that's the whole step, half step formula that you should already understand. Count up your C string. C, D, E, F, G, A. So A is going to be on the 9th fret. So in box 1, we're just going to learn how to play A. The different ways to pick it, which strings to pick together, which strings to avoid, so that it doesn't sound like it's a different type of chord. Here in box number 2, we're going to go right into the scales that you can get off of the 9th fret in the key of A. And basically what it is we have what we call 2 below and we call 3 above. In this area is a whole ton of action that's going to help you be able to play right away, like if you're going to go sit in with somebody, particularly like at the blues jam or something, And you'll have some cool licks to start with and some scales and stuff that will give you the ammunition. You'll be able to create your own style and everything out of this. So this is how we get to what we call make it your own. We're on box number 2, and what that is it's going to be a scale dedicated to what we call above the 0. So key of A, 0, scale above. And then box 3 is key of A, 0, scale behind the 0 spot, going linearly across the strings this way. Then we're going to, in each of the following boxes for the next couple of pages, we're going to just keep going at this below the 0 mark. So that's how that's going to work. And then we're going to do some more notes that are easy to play. We're on box number 7. We're going to play some more below, but this is like descending lines. And then more below yet. And then here's some more below right here, but we're going to use that D string out there for some of the notes. Down here on box 10, we're going to start understanding the various 7th notes. This is the major scale, and then here will be the major scale with the dominant 7th, and that's what we call a flat 7. And then this is a more simplified way to play it. With this box 11, this is going to be the pattern that, like, go to the blues jam and you're going to hear the same thing. Do, 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 do. Okay, that's what this is, and we'll show you how to do that so that you can play right along with when nobody knows who you are and you're sitting in. You know, it's a high percentage, they're going to play that little riff as the basis to whatever jam it is. We're on page 3, box 12. Same thing, the blues 7th. We're going to show you the jam pattern that I was just touching on. In this one, we're going to learn like a little blues jam pattern, and then we're going to play it da 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 da. And then it's up to you to learn all of this in other keys. We're going to keep it in A so that we have a basis to start from. But you need to learn it in E and D and F sharp and all the different keys. So here it is, da 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 da. So you can play this little lick, we're in box 14 here, over jam patterns and stuff like that. And this is where you really start to slip and slide, you know, where you're we'll just take you right into that. We're not just going to play these generic notes. We're going to eventually make this be sliding steel guitar. Box 15, another downward run from behind the 0 position. And this is where we do more sliding the notes. And when you slide, that's when you can milk the note and what have you, and you begin to create your own voice and your own sound within this. You become a unique player, and that's what you want to be able to do in a jam. 9, okay, this is more sliding down, just different ways to play the same basic pattern. And then here it is using that D string out here to play the same basic stuff. And it looks real complicated, but once we get to doing it in the individual videos, you'll see how this is going to be really not that hard. In page 4, box 18, we're going to learn some little angular deals that we can do so that when you're playing a standard blues 1 to 4 to 5 chord, you can just turn these easy slant angles, and we'll show you how to do all that. And you'll, right here you're playing A, and right here you're playing D. I mean, you don't have to change where you're at. You know, it's all based on the 9th fret, and I'll show you how to do that. And this is like the first easy little slant you can go to that works every time. Same thing here. except we take it further and we show you how to play it with 3 notes, so that you're playing out here 2 notes and bending the bar back to get this lower note. Same thing, 1, 4, 5 chords. Box 20, still on page 4, and this is a turnaround line that you would play after the 5 chord to walk you back into the 1 chord. We're getting now to where it's like little parts where you jam along, and so that when you get to the real jam, you'll have at least something to play here, and you can be a part of what's going on with the rest of them. Okay, we're on page 5, box 22. Again, this is a what we call 3 above 0. So if 9 is where your A chord is, 12 is where a whole bunch of really cool licks are that you can use to play the 1, 4, 5 progression just by going up here and playing some licks primarily on the 12th or maybe the 11th fret. So on A, we're going to show you how to do that. And then when we hit the D chord, which is the 4 chord, we're going to, we'll go in and show you how to do this angle, and then there's a little lick that's right there on 12 that will act as the 4 chord by playing these notes. And then we get to the E chord, we do the same thing. We'll play the angle, and then the little licky poos, part of them are coming out of this 12 area, and then this little thing is kind of a turnaround to get you back down to the A. So you're going to be able to play 1, 4, 5 right here between your 0 and 3 above. We just spent the first 4 pages learning how to do a bunch of this stuff behind 0. These are the parts that are above 0. Page 6, box 26. This is a 2 below lick. It'll be an A sound. And then when you're down here below, we're going to start teaching you how what we've learned about A, when you apply it to D or E or G, any other chord, those same 2 below and 3 above patterns, when you're using them with the D chord, will be off of D. So, you'll be 2 below or 3 above D, and then the same thing in E. When you hit E, you'll either be 2 below or 3 above in E. So this little part here with these boxes is showing you how to start blending the different below and above patterns for each chord to make it happen and make it go easy for you, so when you're playing, you're not going all over the place, you're right there. So again, box 26, 2 below A, and then 27 is the 5th chord, but we're going to play in the 3 above position of the 5th chord, which is right here on 5. So you're going to go and play some notes here, and that'll be A, and then your D chord will be right here on these notes, which are still in D, and then you use these notes again. You notice they're all 5s coming off that 5 spot and heading back to, see, that's a 7 to the 3 chord, and then eventually you get back to the 1 chord. So this is how to play through your 1, 4, 5 using notes that are all right next to each other and just happen to be below the A and above the other 2 chords. We'll learn more about that as we get into each one individually. Same thing here. This is a 4 chord 2 below extended. Combine that with a 5 chord 3 above extended and bring it back to a 1. And it's not that complicated to play these, but when we get to it, you'll see how this helps you understand how to play notes that sound like chords and chords that are in the spots where they need to be. Page 7, box 34. More of this idea of angles and these sounds from the 4 to 1 chord and from the 5 to 1 chord, some angles. So we talk about a lot of angles here on this page 7, angle bar. Slants, basics. Same thing here. We're going to play some more angle with chords. And this is going to show you how to, for example, this is how to get an augmented sound, and here's how to get a little bit more of a dominant 7th sound, and how to use this stuff to transition back to your 1 chord. So we're just continuing to expand the whole idea of how to use this practically when you're out there trying to play a song maybe you've never even heard. Page 8, this is box 40, this whole thing here. And what this is a big long solo kind of a deal, and I'm going to talk about when do you jump in and start playing a solo when you're at the jam session. At some point they're going to want you to actually do something so they can all critique you, you know, because you got 10,000 guitar players in there trying to play the same licks and what have you, and you got to come on strong enough to be cooler than they are with less notes. And that's what this is. This is coming in on the 4 chord, and then here's a little lick to get you back to the 1. Then here's a 5 chord lick with a transition back to 1. So these two little things are actual. You could use these when you're out there jamming and playing in a song with other people that maybe you never played with before. Page 9, box 42 through 45. In this little section, we're going to be playing to a B minor track, kind of a B.B. King sounding sort of a thing. And so this is going to give you some ideas of how to deal with minor chords in this tuning. So without trying to overly explain it. Because again, remember we had an A minor sound and a C major sound at the same spot. So depending on which strings you hit will equal whether you're playing a minor chord or a major chord. And then you can do the same thing we've been doing all along. We're going to find little places to play just single notes, but that when you're in a jam, those single notes will sound like a minor chord.